on this game at the outset, unfortunately, is how is it going to be officiated? Because we saw game 3 take a, it took a shift in that late stretch. Jalen Brunson, Joel Embiid drawing fouls. If they're calling this one, if they're calling it tight, if they're letting play go, then it's going to look very different.
Yeah, it is. And there's been a lot of heartbreak. 21 free throws. They added 6 to those by intentionally fouling Embiid in the last minute of the game when it was already over. So that uh, there were maybe a couple that I didn't agree with. There was one where I thought the defender went straight up on Joel on a three-pointer and got called for it. But this is going to be a huge game here. I hope we get a really competitive one, and this is kind of headed towards being a legendary series. And we'll see whether Jalen Brunson also figured something out and what the Knicks are going to do to maybe try to run Joel off those jumpers because he's turned into Joel Nowitzki. Joel looks like he just like kind of tweaked something just doing the tip. Here's Joel on the quick post up. He fires it. And again, this has been the change in his game. He's just getting that jumper off immediately, but didn't get that one. Now Hartenstein looking to interact with DiVincenzo. They got Brunson on the weak side, and the first play is for DiVincenzo. It misses. Nice rebound by Oubre. Hartenstein is down. Can the Sixers take advantage? Embiid's open underneath. They don't see him. Throw him the ball. Oh, come on. Too late.
Too late, and Josh Hart's able to react. From a player availability standpoint, Mitchell Robinson is not going to play in this one, though I thought Precious Achiuwa did a nice job in Game 3.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating to see. Do they try to get into some different coverages with Achiuwa as well? Deep in the quarter, Harris to inbound. Still plenty of time for Philly to shoot. A little flex action here. They go under. That leaves Lowry open for 3. Missed it. Oubre, no, take it away, and Lowry has it in his hands. Oubre, now they'll find a beat underneath. Easy. That's what they should have done the first time.
Yeah, and still get those 2 points, and you can see the Philly crowd riled up. And I agree with Corey. Corey said that the Batum should start because nobody else can get Joel the ball. I agree. Been saying it all series.
Hey, Kelly Oubre just threw a nice pass to him.
He did.
Well, you want him for Harris anyway, don't you?
Yes.
So they run a little twist action to get some switches off the ball. That's a nice job taking advantage, but I think it was Oubre who came over to block it. Here's Harris, fumbled it. Then he takes it too long to get it to Oubre. Oubre missing the three-pointer. Yeah, I'll send a little message. I think we're a little laggy here.
And a pull up there from Jalen Brunson. You could see he knew that Joel Embiid was not going to come out. We'll keep an eye on the coverage here, but he was not really out to touch there.
Yeah, but the key is they don't get everything set up behind him. They're able to attack and transition off that miss. Here's Maxey, Embiid, quick movement. Lowry's looking to load up his second 3, but they get it to the opposite side. It's Harris backing down on DiVincenzo. Has the size advantage, but didn't turn. He had the baseline, but turned into DiVincenzo instead. Not very good feel there in the post. Here's Brunson. Snakes it. Oh, yes, they miscommunicate. Nice job by Brunson with that snake. They want to force Joel to get on the floor. They know he doesn't want to do that, and Brunson has 4 quick points for New York. Good sign for them on a couple of easy jumpers. Nice job by Hartenstein getting back in front of Embiid. It goes to the left and finishes. Nice play there. Again, a quick, fast decision by Joel Embiid with even the slightest of advantages off the catch. Good pressure by Lowry forces Hart into Embiid on the late switch. Embiid was massive there. They've tried to challenge him more, but Embiid held up that time as he has throughout the series. Into the post, Harris again against DiVincenzo. They've been trying to get Harris going early. That time they do. DiVincenzo, not the stoutest post defender. We've seen that in the playoffs, particularly last year against the Lakers. So good job taking advantage there.
And even though Tobias Harris was able to make that work, it's going to take a lot of success there as New York for me to really change things up.
Yeah, but any bucket you get that's not Maxey and Embiid, you got to feel good. There's Embiid with the steal, and this is going to be a dunk. Even Harris can dunk this one.
And that's
Although
another.
he kind of stumbled afterwards.
And then Joel Embiid, that's another nice pass in transition through the bounce pass. That's where the angle was, and sets up the open dunk.
Brunson wide open again. Wow, he's getting wide open jump shots here early. Setting the screens high was something else that they had success with. I think Philly's going to have to look into maybe making some changes there because he's getting wide open. Good job by Brunson getting over the screen. No call. Oh, that's a great job by Lowry. Really smart because when you fall down, you are no longer in legal guarding position. So stepping over him like that is a foul on Brunson.
Yeah, and that gets, I mean, Brunson's not necessarily a high foul player, but getting a foul on the Knicks' most important guy is also a valuable discretionary thing. And I mean, he fell. So I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, he flopped down. He definitely tried to flop getting over the screen. So when you flop, you are now no longer in legal guarding position.
I don't know that I would call that a shooting foul, though. I think I would have called that on the floor because Lowry saw it. Lowry saw it and went after it before he was in a shooting motion.
Let's see here. So he's down. Yeah, that. I would say that's a non-shooting foul. But yeah, Brunson hoisted by his own flopping petard that time. So was he indeed behind the line? Yeah, it looks like David Guthrie says it's 3. Guthrie might be he's an underrated referee. He doesn't come up that much. I just judge it on who I don't see making terrible calls, and I don't really recall him making too many.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as sharp on that stuff as you are, but yeah,
I'm not that sharp on it either, honestly. It's very ad hoc, I will admit.
Yeah. No, you have a better memory of it.
Yeah, I guess so. Here, take over for a sec. Just going to send a message to our playback overlords here, see if we can get the stream improved a little bit.
Another wide open jumper, this time for OG Anunoby. And I mean, that one you're going to live with, even though it was pretty clean. But I mean, the storyline of this game, New York's attempts so far have been much better, much less contested than they have been in the rest of the series. Trying to get the ball to Embiid, still guarded by Hartenstein. That foul trouble is going to be important to watch. And that was a quicker action, but a good contest. And oof, that ball bounced a million times, and that's going to be Knicks' ball. Hit the top of the backboard. And so, the nurse is arguing with tipped. I didn't see that live. And Embiid, he did go quickly here, but a good job by Hartenstein getting more in his jersey.
All right, I think maybe we got the stream fixed up here. Now they're going to go weak side. DiVincenzo trying to step behind that mesh point. He goes at Embiid. Ooh, I thought that could have been a foul there. No whistle. Oubre across the lane. Sorry, I think we're trying to get the stream fixed up a little bit here. Here is DiVincenzo wide open, but Embiid gets the rebound. Knicks haven't done much on the offensive glass so far. Here's Maxey. Oh, he backed hard off beautifully, but couldn't get the 3.
I did like DiVincenzo there. He picked up Lowry a little bit early. It slowed down, except for Maxey getting that pull-up anyway.
Brunson backing in on Maxey, getting to his spot. Maxey got the block shot, but a foul is called. He can't believe it.
That looked good to me. I'd like to see it might have been with the second hand. Like I think the block itself was good.
Yeah, there is kind of one of those, hey, is Tyrese Maxey really going to block Brunson? Yeah, he came across his body. That's a good call.
And so for me, the biggest takeaway from the early going here has been the jump shots that the Knicks have gotten have been much better looks than before. And can they continue that rate of things rather than going in? But their shots around the basket have, as typical in this series, have been pretty well contested.
The Sixers can't keep playing drop versus Brunson, right? What do you think of that?
They can, but I think they need to go back to more of the approach from before with the rear view contests and everything else. Now, bringing the screen from higher, that was a change from the Knicks that made it easier for them. But I think that it's because I actually liked the drop for most of games 1 and 2, even though the Sixers lost those games. So they can, but you need to execute it really well.
I mean, if I were them, I mean, they have some other things in their back pocket. Like I do like that box and one. You can only play that on a make. They've kind of decided. I mean, I think the biggest thing is Joel can't play anything else. Like they're going to go around him, and he's going to be exhausted. So I think they just got to kind of live with this for now. I would certainly consider going back to like the overhelping off of Josh Hart
Mm-hmm.
approach at times. I think they need to change things up a little bit more. But Brunson has done a really good job of adjusting to how he's being covered.
Is the Knicks offense too heliocentric, or is that their only choice? With their available personnel, there isn't too much there. I like Dante DiVincenzo. I like Josh Hart. You can't really do much more creation with them. That's not Miles McBride's strength. We saw that earlier in the season. So you can run some stuff, and they do through the high mid post with Hartenstein. But the flow of their offense has to be through Brunson because he's the only person who can consistently generate good shots.
Yeah, if you think about the other three perimeter guys, I think all of them can attack off the catch after an advantage has been created. And DiVincenzo, okay, you can run some handoff stuff for him on the backside. He'll pull that three at the mesh point like he did just a little bit earlier. But yeah, in terms of guys that you really trust to create something, it's just a stopgap to be running other stuff. And Jalen Brunson has shown equal to that task so far. And the other thing, too, is because of Joel's limitations right now, they don't necessarily have the personnel to just like do a bunch of crazy shit to get the ball out of his hands, out of Brunson's hands. So it's like, all right, yeah, we'll just keep giving it to him. If he's getting good shots, why not?
Nate, would you consider as Nurse trying to separate Joel Embiid and Jalen Brunson and maybe have more Precious Achua in those minutes and see if you can run some more aggressive stuff?
Yeah, that's what Jared and I were talking about a couple days ago. As we'll see, yeah, that's a clear foul, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I didn't see that he takes off 1 foot here and goes right through his body.
Yeah, that's a foul. Yeah, and as Lasha mentioned, you could do dribble handoffs with Isaiah Hartenstein and set up threes for Dante DiVincenzo. Yeah, that's another thing you can incorporate, those sorts of actions.
Yeah, so Brunson already on 7 points for New York. Yeah, Knicks 0 for 4 in the paint right now, and there is, especially with the way Philly has largely scored well in this series, I think they can continue to do
Yeah,
so.
there's a
Yeah, yeah.
there's a wild disparity in this game. So the Sixers are 5 for 5 in the restricted area and have not made a shot anywhere else. The Knicks are 0 for 4 in the paint and 4 for 5 everywhere else.
So Brunson missing 1 of 2 free throws. They get it to Oubre. Good pressure from DiVincenzo. They try to run that pin down out of the corner for Embiid, but with Oubre catching the ball so far away, it's hard to make that pass. Now they get into that pick and roll. Embiid stopped by Hartenstein, and it looks like there's a foul there. I still think that probably should have been a pass to the corner for Harris, wide open.
I think so too. Embiid got a little bit of tunnel vision there. I mean, it's sometimes that's the pass you. They're challenging this?
Interesting. Yeah. Well, you know what? I bet you Tom Thibodeau came in and decided he was going to challenge the first foul on Embiid no matter what. Yeah, I mean, there was sort of like a jerk by Embiid at the end. I'm not sure what caused that. It could have been his own flopping. Gonna do Mavs clips. I mean, I may turn it on personally for if it's close in like the last 5 minutes or so, but it's considering we also have to do a recording and like another live YouTube show later tonight. It's a little little much just in terms of like all that much talking. Let's see if we can catch it as a foul here.
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, you can't tell. So who blocks it? It's Anunoby. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. Maybe he's got the left arm on his back, who's enough to sustain if you see the other side of it.
Yeah, that's a good eye with the left hand. I don't think I think that's more marginal contact, but I don't think that's a foul.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like with some of these challenges, the standard has changed a little bit. It used to be, all right, if there's anything, it seems like they're basically doing it fresh and like, is this something we want to be called? Yeah, there's definitely, so Embiid, he's going to get blocked, and then he, kind of kicks the leg out. That's, I think, what the official is reacting to. Let's see.
Okay, so a successful challenge, meaning that it is not a foul on Anunoby, but it is still Sixers ball. I think they said 3.6 on the clock. Yeah, it does feel like they've expanded the definition of marginal contact. And broadly speaking, I think that's better because the extreme deference that ended up getting laid out for kind of flawed calls, I think generally speaking that leads to better outcomes. There have been times that I've been a little frustrated by it where they've made the marginal like it's been more than marginal contact, but as I said with the kind of the transition take foul a year ago, it's closer to the right answer. It's not the right answer in and of itself. And so like I think that we can be happy with the league, and then with another, an off season of calibration for these officials, we could probably get even closer than that.
Yeah, all right. So I think there is a little danger just inherent in the system in possibly overcorrecting too far to not calling stuff. Because if you think about it, plays where guys drive to the basket and there's no call, like people don't remember those, right? Like immediately it's just considered a stop. They cry to the refs, no one remembers it, it goes down the other way. Whereas whenever they do give a call, a bullshit call, and then the guy goes to the foul line, it gets replayed a bunch of times, and it just it just feels like play is stopped. Like it seems like this is something that's out of people's control, and that the refs are favoring people, and so it's the narrative is much better the fewer calls you foul or fouls you call. As Embiid again, just immediate attack with that jump shot, and looks like they're just sticking with. Oh, that was nice by Hart. So Embiid knew the play on the weak side. So I'll finish my point in a second. Knew the play on the weak side was going to be, I think it was Brunson, and so Hart saw him creeping up, and then attacked him, and that Embiid got him across the arm. That was a beautiful attack by Hart. The play, Embiid saw his man Hartenstein go into screen for, I think, DiVincenzo, followed him, and then Hart attacked the vacated opening. Yeah, so what I was trying to say is you remember all the bad calls, but nobody remembers the calls that should have been made that weren't. In a lot
Correct.
of, unless it's like a last second play that gets replayed all the time. So I think we're at a pretty good equilibrium here right now, and I'm also okay with like more fouls being called sometimes at the basket on drives. But I do think the bullshit field contact, throw up some crap, is like getting rid of that mostly is a very, very good thing.
Oh, that was a really short free throw by Josh Hart, but he gets the rebound.
DiVincenzo, good closeout by Batum. Underneath Hart. Oh, Embiid got back in. That could have been a foul too, but Hartenstein cleans up. I thought Embiid went through the body there. Nurse is upset. I'm not sure what. Oh, yes! Beautiful pass there by Embiid, finding Oubre. Those two have had a nice chemistry early here.
And that was a really nice cut from the opposite corner by Kelly Oubre. And with Embiid shooting so many mid-rangers more quickly, you can actually do that without it being a Caspi cut.
Oh, nice flare screen set here, setting up Anunoby, but he missed it. Maxi's been quiet here early. He's going to get the drag from Embiid. Anunoby staying with him. Oh, yeah, that's good footwork by Maxi. That, again, we've talked about this so often in that series, and Maxi has added to it because not only will he take the shot when the guy tries to get back in front of him off the pick and roll, he'll do a step back as well. That's indefensible. Here's Brunson. He's bothered by Batum. Embiid's going to push it up here, feeling spry. He's got Maxi on his right. Looks him off. Euro step. Stopped by Anunoby. What a block. Second time Anunoby has blocked Embiid. Hart coming back. Brunson on the shot fake. Euro steps around Oubre. That is sick footwork.
And with that block by Anunoby, Embiid was a mile behind the play. The Knicks had enough time to even get into a secondary action before the rim protector was out there.
Hart trying to pressure up on Maxi. Embiid taking his time to get the ball. Do they double team here? Oubre trying to cut off the ball. Embiid just backs down, turns right through, and scores. Yeah, Hartenstein was trying to keep him off that left shoulder and just wasn't strong enough.
Embiid is a big dude, man. And I mean, Hartenstein there, I don't know that he could have done much too differently. It's just sometimes you're going to get overpowered, maybe bring a second. But Embiid hasn't done that many post-ups like that.
Brunson attacking Embiid downhill.
That's
time
a worse
he
shot.
rushed it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that one. Here's Lowry. Sends it to Batum. Batum gets Anunoby to fly by. Batum tried to end DiVincenzo, and he'll go to the foul line.
Good to see an aggressive drive and dunk attempt there from Nicola Batum, and you get a foul on Titi DiVincenzo. 2 shots at the free throw line. Do you think that was too aggressive a closeout by Anunoby?
Yeah, I mean, you saw in the play-in Batum get really aggressive. I think I might have stopped a little shorter than that. Because generally Batum is not going to, especially in transition like that, he's usually not going to fire. Like that's not his number one thing. He wants to kind of play the team game a little bit more.
Got a comment, crazy. This might be Batum's last series. It looks great to me. I mean, players can do whatever they want. I would love to see Nicola Batum in the NBA next year. I think he can really bring value, can help teams.
I mean, he would get an 8-figure contract if he were a free agent for sure, I think. Maybe even from Philly. Like, they would love to give him their room exception, I'm sure. Hartenstein up top. Brunson working against Payne. Oh, Hartenstein committed a illegal screen there, sticking his butt out. No call. Here's McBride getting loose in the corner. Hart went for the rebound. Philly's defensive rebounding has been much better since game 1. And Embiid has been pretty good on the glass so far here early. Oubre going to attack Brunson. Brunson flops down, and Oubre misses. Oubre now has to pick up Hart in transition. Batum, good job stepping up to help. Now he's on Anunoby. Anunoby backs in. Kick out Hart. Closed down by Oubre. Oubre got a hand on it. It's loose. Hartenstein tipped it right to Anunoby, but the Knicks support players can't hit a shot right now.
And Oubre late reacted kind of twice on that play. Gave up an open 3, but it was okay. It did work out for the Sixers.
Payne with Maxey on the bench. Embiid's going to fire it again. Again, I love the way this injury has forced Joel to just chew the fat out of his game, as this will be a hold on Lowry, interestingly. Hartenstein is getting away with some very questionable screens right now.
And in terms of foul count, I can't be 100% sure that I'm not ahead of the game, but it looks like that's the 3rd on the Sixers, and the Knicks only have 2.
So this will be our first look in this series at DeAnthony Melton, who I think it's been underrated that he basically hasn't played in the second half of the year because he's been outstanding in Philly. And Melton immediately gets into Brunson's lap. They pass it to Hart, and now Hartenstein along the baseline missed his little floater.
Yeah, Hartenstein's been more damaging kind of center paint on that. It's the same distance, but it's, might be a different shot.
Embiid ducking in. Double team comes. They'll try to play out of that now with Maxey on the bench. They go to the double team. Embiid again, just a quick move, And if he's shooting the basketball like this, as they're going to get a cheapo foul in the backcourt for Brunson, feels like they're still officiating Embiid and Brunson differently from the other series. I noticed that only really in the second half of Game 3. And now Brunson's going to get wide open. He just pushed it up, and Brunson does not get that roll off the front rim this time. Handoff. Melton, he'll take the three. Not even close. Yeah, Melton moving a little gingerly, it looks like, on that back. We'll see if he can kind of get that warmed up. Melton gets a nice denial there on McBride, and we'll go the other way. Great play by Melton with that huge wingspan.
And great to have Melton back as another point of attack defender. He may need to kind of get his sea legs back before you put him like in the deep waters against Brunson, but definitely going to help the rotation.
Embiid at the elbow. Back screen. Nice pass. And Harris rims it in. Beautiful. That was Denver Nuggets style action there with that back screen. And timeout by Tom Thibodeau. I think this is his automatic. There have been some long stretches here without free throws. Yeah, watch this back screen. Brunson just never reacted. And Philly now up by 12 quietly. And Brunson hasn't found the range of late. He's got 10 points, but nobody else on the Knicks can make anything.
I mean, both teams are identical, 1 for 7 on 3-pointers, but the Knicks are compounding that with 2 of 8 in the paint, which is a big problem for them, whereas the Sixers have gotten stuff both in transition and in the half court there around the basket. We just saw that. We just saw the back screen play. Cleaning the glass, the Knicks have a 52 half-court offensive rating so far.
And Embiid, I mean, to me, he looks more spry than he has at any point in this series. I'd say particularly on the defensive end.
Melton looks like he's stiff as a board from his waist to his shoulders. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not moving perfectly, but I mean, even a limited Melton can help in the rotation.
Sadly, he's not also light as a feather.
Well, there are some advantages to that.
Yeah, so that was somewhat of an odd timeout, I would say, by Tom Thibodeau. That was not an automatic. And I mean, they're down 12. Like, that's not great, but with only 52 seconds left in the quarter, maybe this is. And Brunson's not going to go out here. He'll turn the corner, and that time he wheels around Embiid. He started all the way in the right corner and got behind the big man for one of the first times in the series. Philly going to try to set up the 2-for-1 here. Embiid gets the screen. Now he'll screen for Payne. Payne into the lane, and he walked.
And I saw, just to have it in context, he may be coming into the game right now, from Mike Scotto, that there is ligament damage per an MRI on Bojan Bogdanovic's left wrist, but he's going to play through it.
Yeah, I think there's pretty good understanding that was the case. Bojan is in right now, being guarded by Melton, who's the low man. Here's Brunson. Good contest by Embiid. Left it short. Embiid getting a little higher out on the floor that time. And last possession of the quarter accruing to Philly. Here's Payne. Going to attack Hartenstein downhill. Harris. I thought he could have turned the corner. He doesn't. Instead, they get a rotation. Melton's three. That three looked better. Harris almost got that tip. But a great first quarter for Philly, particularly on the defensive end. If the Suns get swept, is that the least successful Big Three in recent history? I guess only because this is going to be fun. Lakers were a Big Four.
Oh, yeah, that team was a whole different kettle of fish. Well, yeah, and the Lakers Big Four being so bad that one of them left immediately is different. Now, maybe that happens with the Suns too, but
yeah. Well, not only were they that bad, it's basically like Nash and Kobe were like done after
Yes.
that year. Like that's the year that Kobe tore his Achilles. I mean, I always wonder if Steve Nash could have made it through a year or two healthy, what that team would have looked like. Um, but the other problem was just that like Gasol and Howard didn't work together. Like that
Sure.
was the that like you couldn't play those guys together, and D'Antoni realized that. But who was the four band that they're gonna bring in for Gasol? I thought that was one of the underrated. And then of course Howard, he would never really quite be the same. He would have another couple of decent years in Houston, like uh 13, 14, 14, 15, he was pretty good in Houston, but then that was kind of it for him as an all-star level of guy. But they thought they were getting like a top 5 guy in the NBA, and they were getting kind of more of a lower end all-star.
The other consideration with the Suns, even if this year is not making me more encouraged for next year, is that they presumably will have more time on this. And I think Beal will probably be similar next year. Hopefully he'll be healthier. KD will age a little bit, and then Booker hopefully will continue to progress. Now, do I feel like running it back is going to produce a significantly better return? Maybe not, but at least they get another chance.
Uh oh yeah, the Lakers Westbrook big 3. I mean that they didn't even make the playoffs. So, yeah, that was a pretty miserable big 3.
Thoughts on Redick being a finalist for the Hornets job? I have a weirdly large amount of familiarity with people who had never coached before being a coach, considering I've covered the Warriors when both Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr did that. It's a really, really hard thing. And I think that JJ Redick has a good mind for the game. I think that basically no one should do that transition. And so even though I think Redick might be more adept than average people, and I root for everyone to succeed, I think teams should be extremely cautious because it's so much to take on because it's not only like the tactics but running an organization and the big structure involved, and it's a totally different challenge than even like Steve Kerr, who had been in the front office than those people have ever had. So I want him to succeed. I would love for Redick I would love to see him as a coach and see what he brings to the table, but I think that it should almost never happen.
Yeah, ideally someone would be an assistant, but I do think being a broadcaster does have some advantages because you are forced to see everything, uh, and across the league, and you know what all the trends are, and you know who all the players are. Whereas I think as you come up through the coaching ranks, maybe you can be a little bit more myopic. Um, so I don't think it's impossible that broadcasting can be a decent preparer for it. I think it really just ultimately depends on the person. And I think Redick, he's one of the more intelligent guys as far as his commentary. So I think at that to that extent, I think where I might be most concerned about him is kind of from an emotional standpoint. I'm not sure. Although, hey, you got LeBron to do a podcast with him, so Brunson is going to remain on the floor here with Embiid out. They go with Brunson for 15 straight minutes at the start, and that's got to be a foul on Batum right there. And Boyan is down. Yeah, how is that not a foul on Batum? He goes right over his ankle, and this is no good here at all.
Yeah, it's a dangerous play. I mean, and we talk about it more in the context of like a loose ball, like for a foul, but like diving through another player is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, and that's something culturally. Every high school coach is like, oh, yeah, you got to just dive for the ball, like prove how tough you are. And I mean, now that's tough because Boyan does kind of step in front of him with this left foot here. Oh yeah, right on the back of it. So that's no good. He crushed his foot into the ground from the back. And hopefully I'm not really sure what specific injury that could cause. It might be a toe issue. If his toes
I
were
thought
kind
he
of
was
on the ground
grabbing
and
at the.
bent.
I thought he was grabbing at the like more in the like heel ankle area, but I don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah, Bogdanovich. And okay, they will in fact give up a foul there, looks like. Back screen set by Brunson. Good job by Maxey topsiding him off of that. And Hartenstein on the drive. Reed can't believe the foul call. We'll have to get another look at that one.
Hartenstein played the entire first and is now beginning the second quarter. At some point, they're going to have to go to Precious Achua and Hartenstein. I mean, I think Precious Achua is totally capable, especially in these non-Embiid minutes. You could do it either way, but like, I mean, I would have him out there. Should diving at the knees, ankles be a flagrant like landing space? I think there's too much context that you can get into, and like, I mean, you players like it's like that one was a good example where it wouldn't have been nearly as bad for Bogdanovic if he hadn't brought his leg kind of into Batum's path. So I think there should be some discretion on it, but I don't think it should be called kind of in the same way as landing space.
Yeah, well, and it's one thing if the guy's just standing there and, Dellavedova into Kyle Korver style, you just go right through his legs that are already there. That time, Batum is already diving for the ball, and then Bogdanovic steps in front of him. So Hartenstein missed both free throws. Late clock here for Philly. Batum, both teams just cannot hit a three right now. Payne picking up Brunson. He's got to like this matchup. Goes right by him. Gets into the mid-range. Reed comes over, and that's a beautiful pass by Brunson. Beautiful bounce pass. Pass Reed to find Hartenstein underneath. Achua is at the table now. Here's Payne. Switched onto by McBride. Tries to get past him. Finds Reed at the dotted line. Reed going to the hook. Batum on the tip. Nothing there. Philly feeding for a bucket right now. They haven't really gotten Maxey involved yet with this group. Brunson on the attack. Finds Hartenstein on the floater. Yes!
And even though the mechanics of that one were different, that was more the shot that Hartenstein was hitting in the game 2 and game 3.
Batum setting the screen to get Brunson involved. Here's Maxey downhill. Maxey probably should have gotten a foul call there. But as long as they keep it consistent both ways, that was Brunson who potentially committed that foul. As long as Brunson's not getting that same call on the other end, which is that's one of the big ones that he likes to get, going into the guy's shoulder.
And something we'll keep an eye on. The only player who has 2 fouls so far is actually Nicolas Batum coming off the bench. So we'll see if he gets into trouble. But everyone else is clean.
Yeah, and there you see on that bounce pass, Paul Reed just not quite the same level of pick and roll craft. Now he's going to try Achua, and that's not going to work.
And the Sixers are fortunate that Reed stepped out of bounds before he threw that pass, because that would have been a quick run out the other way.
Yeah, on that bounce pass that they showed the replay of, Reed, it was when Brunson picks up his dribble there, you got to retreat back to your man, and he was just a little late doing that. Brunson guarded by Payne, who's staying with him. Payne goes down, and what a block by Reed. He stopped Brunson and got over to take away Achua. Now Maxey finding Harris in the corner. Harris on the drive. Achua stood tall, but a foul over the back of Harris in the rebounding action.
And a report from Shams that Kawhi Leonard will not play in Game 4.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. Yeah, this is great here from Reed, and maybe you could say Achua's got to get this up a little faster, but I wouldn't say that, actually. He got it up pretty quick. That was a great play by Reed. He really got off the ground fast.
Just so frustrated with, the Kawhi not being available is just sad.
Well, especially after he made it through the whole season so well.
Yeah.
But, that knee is pretty fucked, right? Think of all the things that's happened to it. First he had the quad tendinopathy. That's probably never been 100% after that. Then he tears the ACL. Then he gets the meniscus in that same knee. That's part of why I was surprised that they came back with him on this he's 100% right to start the season, as McBride throws it away. Achua had no chance at that pass. Yes, it is the same knee for all these injuries, his right knee. And really, if you look at the injury mechanism, both for the meniscus and the ACL, both of them were sort of situations where it was just like there was an extra load on that quad and it just didn't quite fire. So I think it all goes back to the quad tendinopathy. Here's Reed. Missed it. This has been a complete rock fight so far.
Yeah, it's 6 total points in the first 3 minutes of the second quarter.
Brunson guarded by Harris. Into the post, and Anunoby. Oh, beautiful knock away by Maxey. And Reed, no, could not get it. Will stay here with 10 to shoot. Thibodeau upset, thought there should have been a foul call. I thought that looked pretty good there by Maxey to knock it away without fouling. As this, oh yeah, Reed has the left foot on the line there. Yeah, that's yeah. So yeah, you could say Maxey's got the right arm wrapped around Anunoby. If you're the smaller player, maybe you get away with a little more there. Oh, Terrace, that probably could have been a foul too with him going through Anunoby. They are not calling much right now.
And that's a part of why it has been so low scoring. So this being basically a scoreless start to the second quarter, I think that's pretty big advantage Sixers considering that Brunson has been on the floor.
Yeah, he's still inbounding. He'll probably come out when Embiid comes in. 3 to shoot. Here's Anunoby. Yes, nice take there. I thought Reed could have come over a little earlier to get his chest on him. So Philly, only a couple of free throws. Maxey waves away Batum. Now they want to involve Achua in pick and roll. Switch the angle of the screen. Maxey on the crossover. And nice defense there. Achua has been really solid on these rim protection plays. Here's Brunson on the blow by over Batum. Timeout, Philly, and Embiid's going to come back in here now. They've got 2 points in 4 minutes.
2 points in 4 minutes, and it going from 4 to 2 to 8 to 2. That's a pretty significant margin for the Knicks, and defense fueling offense. I thought that Achua did a really, really good job there moving his feet, just as he did in Game 3.
Yeah, I like Achua out there in these Maxey only minutes because he's maybe got a little more mobility. You talked about that actually on our last pod that was maybe something you wanted to see, and yeah, Embiid will probably have to come back here now.
Shouldn't the physicality benefit the Knicks more than the Sixers? The Sixers actually, they do a lot. They get into guys a lot sometimes, like Lowry and Batum and stuff on the perimeter. And it seems like they're letting a lot of that stuff go too. And so I think it's closer to a wash depending on who's initiating.
Yeah, I mean both Brunson and Embiid kind of need their calls. In some ways, maybe Brunson is even more dependent on it than Embiid is. Particularly the way that Embiid is playing now, where he's just shooting quickly off the catch, not necessarily going into these like crazy Euro step drives that he would get fouled on. Yeah, I'm gonna just catch up on see if there's anything interesting.
Was Hartenstein mentioned the best floaters pod? I don't recall. That's a good question.
I don't think we mentioned him. Maybe should have. Yeah, so no Bogdanovich. I think that matters a little bit. And the other concern, I think, for New York is just that they're going to run out of gas with the way they played Brunson the first 15 minutes of the game. And now you'd think it's advantage Philly in these minutes. I assume Brunson will rest at least some right now.
Presumably. Never can't be completely sure. So yeah, Hart, Anunoby, and Brunson basically have not sat at all in this game so far. Dust off Alec Burks. They could. I think there are places that he could be in this year. Like Burks may end up replacing Bogdanovich as like that low end kind of like 5 to 10 minutes, try to get some offense possibility. I mean, they don't really. I'd rather have it be him than Shake Milton. I'll say that.
Yeah, Shake Milton revenge game, Danny. Yeah, Burks looked pretty calcified in his
revenge on who?
The Sixers?
Yeah, no, I mean, just like, would him being on the floor actually be revenge? Why hasn't Buddy Hield come in? I mean, he's been pretty marginalized in the rotation even before D'Anthony Melton
But
came
Payne
back.
has played well for them too. That's the other thing.
Well, and they also need a little bit of, because they're not really treating Lowry like a point guard. They're playing Lowry more as an off guard, both in offensive and defensive role. So then, if you don't want to run the second unit offense through him, then Cam Payne's done a good enough job.
Yeah, Embiid is back. Maxey is out on the floor too, and they're sticking with Brunson. Is he just going to play the whole half? Maybe they're just going to try to find a moment for him, but Brunson picked up by Harris. And Anunoby blowing by him. Oh, look out! Yeah, that should be a closeout to Embiid or to Anunoby's right hand. Instead, they let him get to his right as Harris overran the play, and Embiid couldn't get in front in time. Embiid at the nail. Nice post up Harris. Great job by Anunoby getting a hand on it. Embiid has to fire. Oh, in and out. That would have been another one of those ridiculous threes with the guy right in his chest. Knicks looking to tie it here. Brunson now guarded by Oubre. He'll interact with Achua. Brunson will pull it. Head position. This time they can't get the rebound. McBride leaving it for Hart. Hart did not want to shoot the floater. He should have taken that shot. Yeah. Here's Oubre getting on Brunson's back. Brunson got the separation as Achua rolled into Embiid, preventing the rotation.
Yeah, it's kind of a different version of a Gortat, but the same basic concept.
Tie game. Philly has 2 points in almost 6 minutes now. Lowry switched on to by Achua. They got, that was a terrible shot, but he made it. They had gotten Brunson switched on to Embiid, didn't go back there, but Maxey's aggressiveness puts Philly back in the lead. Oh, Embiid saw that post up and rotated down to take it away. But then, that was beautiful work by Brunson. What he did there, he saw Embiid go all the way down to the rim, then realized that he had to cleanse from the lane and 2.9 way back up to the top and just blew by him. That's the second time now that the Knicks have seen Embiid try to take away something off the ball on the weak side and just went right to the basket.
Yeah, it's a version of what LeBron James did so well all those years ago in the playoffs.
So Brunson going to get some free throws here. Tie game at 32. Action starting to pick up now.
Jalen Brunson, 19 points on 8 of 13 from the field.
Yeah, Philly, I would really go back to that defense they were playing in games 1 and 2 against him. And if Hart beats you, so be it. That's better than this. Lowry missed that one. Embiid's way behind. They got a great chance of transition here. Hand back Anunoby, and we'll get a blocking foul here on Lowry.
Yeah, I'm really happy they called that a blocking foul. Lowry tried to sprint into a charge, and he was not set.
Yeah, it looks like a "Let's Go Knicks" fan chant is breaking out here. They try to keep Brunson on the side. He'll snake it now. Maxey is on him. Lowry is in his lap off a Hart. Brunson just trying to get to his spot here. Goes to the fadeaway over Maxey.
Jalen Brunson, absolutely molten right now. 21 points of the Knicks' 34, and he has not sat.
Embiid gets double teamed, and he'll dribble off the foot of Achua. Achua, maybe he's got to do a better job there, though, of keeping him in the double team, not letting him go away from it. I mean, that is a very difficult shot. I thought that's as good a contest as you could hope for from Maxey. Embiid fakes the pass. Oh, what a spin! And we'll get a blocking foul. That was Embiid put some sauce on that spin move.
And even though that one produced a foul, I still think you make Embiid be a driver more often. It takes a lot out of him.
Yes.
You're gonna have some fouls. You're gonna have some awkward plays. And that's another Villanova guy trying to draw a charge when you're not in position. Like, that's a blocking foul. Don't do that. But yeah, if you make him drive an extra 5 times a game, he will be so much more tired.
Yeah, now that does maybe open up the free throw game for him a little bit, but once more, I'm just loving this quick decisiveness from Joel. Yeah, I mean, and he, to me, physically, this is easily the best he's looked in the series.
Agreed. And I thought game 3 was the best he looked before now. So that's very encouraging for Philadelphia.
Yeah, and with the Bucks injuries, it does feel like this series is almost for a berth in the East Finals. DiVincenzo's got Batum on him. They've taken Harris off the floor maybe to close the half. McBride picked up by Embiid. Tough shot. Wow. I didn't like that decision, but with Brunson off the floor, maybe it is a better decision than I thought. I didn't realize they subbed him out. Maxey blowing by Hart. Corner Batum. Beautiful rotation. Achua gets Lowry off the line. Finally, they ping it around to Maxey.
That Batum touch pass was just, that is so essential for Philly because like he gets it to the better shooter and the wide open shot for Maxey.
Hart going to come off the Achua screen. Embiid is downhill. Achua going to the floater. Doesn't have that shot the way Hartenstein does. Maxey going to come off the... No, he rejects the Embiid screen. Forces Achua to guard him. Backs up. They should have thrown it back to Embiid there, though. He had McBride on him.
Oh, missed Achua there.
Transition. Achua, beautiful offensive rebound inside of Embiid, but he rushed it. He will get fouled, however.
So on that play, Achua was hard to, it might have been hard to see from the angle they were playing at. Achua had a step and a half on Embiid and could have gotten a layup before Embiid blocked it, or probably would have gotten fouled. But then he gets fouled by him later in the possession.
So is that going to be 2 on Embiid now?
Yeah. Yes, that is. Oh no, they called that on Batum, and that's Batum's 3rd. Embiid only has 1. No Knick has more than 1 foul, and then the only 2 with more than that are Lowry with 2, Batum with 1.
Yeah, this is a low-scoring first half. Oh, they almost lost that, but Lowry now has it. Hand back to Embiid. Going to interact with Maxey here. Maxey turns the corner. Again, too slow getting it to Embiid. He had him. Now Achua is back in position. Embiid rejecting it. Tried to draw the foul, and he's done so.
And so you can see Hartenstein going back in. I think that Achua has done a good job. I know that Embiid has drawn some fouls on these recent ones, but the thinking on it has been good, and the execution, like you could have run, like you run the same thing back, and he might not score twice on these. Embiid's night so far, 12 points. I guess he just had his 13th, 5 of 11 from the field. He has missed all 3 of his 3-pointers, though they've been in the kind that we've been looking for. 6 rebounds, 4 assists. What are the facts? I'll take over a little bit. I think Nate needs a second. So I want to see what kind of shots the Knicks can generate here. Brunson is still off the floor. They don't have that kind of a dynamic creator, but that's OG Anunoby getting downhill on Joel Embiid, but still a good contest. That's a lot to ask for Anunoby. And it's part of why Brunson just has to be on the floor so much. Kelly Oubre pulls that 3, big shot for Philly. We thought this was going to be a potential advantage situation for them. We didn't know Brunson was going to play that long, and they're getting it a little bit now. And timeout from Josh Hart. I would assume that Jalen Brunson is going to be back on the floor. So I can take some questions. What are the factors leading to these lower scores? Just the officiating? No, it is not just the officiating. Something that Seth Partnow has done well, and Kevin Pelton, I think, talked about this as well. So Seth in the Daily Dunks, Pelton at ESPN Plus, is shooting has been unsustainably bad in the early part of the playoffs, and you expect like a lot of that stuff to regress to the mean. You know, there's been some anomalous stuff there that you see shift around, but officiating it is a part of it too. And like, I mean, there are also, yeah, I mean, you have some teams that are just missing a billion jump shots or missing shots around the basket. So you expect there to be some regression to the mean there. Knicks need to be getting these offensive rebounds where Embiid takes himself out of the play with a contest. Yes, wholeheartedly. I think that's something there. And then Philly can run in transition, but generally speaking, you're not going to be at like a man disadvantage there. So if you have a go guy or maybe even two, I think you can do that. Josh Hart at times can be very effective there because he just has such a big motor that he can go after the rebound and still be in reasonable transition defending position. So yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Wes. I think that's something that they should go to more often. I'm going to pull up the cleaning the glass and see if there's anything fun there.
Yeah. Did you take this one on the factors leading to the lower
I did,
scores?
But
yeah.
if you have any answer on it, you can do that.
I mean, I think a lot of them are just really bad shooting.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But I will like it seems they're playing really good defense, man. Like the Thunder, the Wolves. And this series has actually been the most offensive series of any of them.
They haven't done it a ton, so something for cleaning the glass that I look at. And in this case, it's something that can regress to the mean. Philly, 67 offensive rating in transition so far. Some of those, turnovers, missed opportunities. And so generally inside a game, you expect that to be like, oh, that's something that will go better for Philly. And then if it's at the end of a game, you're like, oh, that's points they left on the table. Philly has a, per cleaning the glass, which I think is probably a little bit fuzzy, a 0 offensive rebound off of live rebounds.
Who would match up better with Denver, Philly or Boston? I like totally healthy Philly. It would be very.
I still think it's Boston though. They're such a talented team.
Yeah. And Denver just has no answer for Embiid though, and they actually don't have a great answer for Maxey either. Come to think of it, well, I guess KCP.
KCP.
There, yeah. But the problem is Philly doesn't really have anyone to guard Jokic. Like when they had PJ Tucker last year, I thought maybe they matched up a little bit better. They were kind of one of the original teams doing the put your 4-man on Jokic strategy.
Batum isn't portly enough for it.
Yeah, I mean, he could try to give a lot of effort. Excuse me. Give a lot of effort, deny him in the ball. But I agree. I mean, he's just too light in the shorts once Jokic actually gets the ball. Looks like they've got Melton back in here. He's guarding Hart. Batum is on Brunson into the post. Anunoby against Oubre. Stopped by Embiid. Embiid came off of Hartenstein, who's come back in, and Hart commits a foul in the backcourt.
The New York Knicks are currently 11 of 23 on shots inside the paint. Though that's not actually better than the Sixers. The Sixers are 8 of 20. Good Lord.
Hart. This is some of the first minutes that they've had Hart matching up against Maxey. Maxey looking to turn the corner. Goes to that same move. Hart was ready for it, though, that time. Embiid working on Hartenstein. Hartenstein trying to take away the jumper. Embiid steps back. Nice rebound by Anunoby. Anunoby has been the most physically dominant wing in this game. He'll try to go right at Embiid. Yeah, that clearly is an emphasis in this game, is to go at him more and not just be scared. I think it's working pretty well. And then Hart gets the steal. No. They'll call the foul in favor of Maxey.
He reached through Maxey's body there. You're not going to, even if you get ball there, probably not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, they're good in the chat. Boyan, left foot contusion. Yeah, that's that time though. The reason that's a foul is Hart's got his arm out there reaching in. Like, you got to just let him go in that circumstance.
Somebody asked, are these Melton's first minutes? No, he played a little. He played briefly earlier in the game. I think like about a 3-minute stint. He was okay. I mean, clearly not 100%, but able to play.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make threes. Like with a back issue, it's kind of hard to do that. But it's interesting that they're going to him here. What's the foul situation? Batum is in foul trouble, right? So
He has
that's
3, yes.
yeah.
And both teams are in the bonus.
Yeah, Philly largely surviving this Brunson explosion with 21 points on 9 of 14. Melton picking up Brunson. Yeah, he didn't get through that screen very easily. Brunson into the lane, throws it out. McBride, good footwork to get beyond the line, and he cashes out.
I thought that Hartenstein could have relocated there and made things a little bit easier on Brunson, but they get a 3 anyway.
Knicks back within 2. Lowry will screen for Embiid here. Hartenstein getting through it. Rescreen, Maxey. Backs up. McBride is over him. Now they work it again. Embiid's going to have to create late clock. Hartenstein gets a hand in. It's loose. Still on the ground. Embiid goes down. And no, that should be a shot clock violation. Why did they reset that? But it doesn't matter. Oubre got blocked. Now the Sixers are complaining. Here come the Knicks. McBride for 2 in a row. Yes.
And this is a huge response from the Knicks. I think that Philly was getting the advantage, brought Brunson back in, McBride, now they have the lead.
Yeah, since this is a Sunday, more Knick fans are able to make the trip down, it would seem. This is a pretty crazy atmosphere, it sounds like. Here's Maxey rejecting the screen. Good job by DiVincenzo coming off of Melton to stop him. Maxey going to try to get past, pulls back. Impossible shot there by Tyrese Maxey to give Philly back the lead.
And something to keep an eye on, Joel Embiid was deactivated for that entire possession. He never really moved from his spot at the above the break.
Yeah, he's looking a little tired. He's got the hand on the shorts. Now he gets into the drop coverage. Here, Anunoby goes right at him, and Embiid's still big enough to just stand there and stop him. Now Maxey. Lowry retreats to the corner and drains it.
You could be tired and you're still tall. You know that better than I do.
I would actually shrink when I was tired. Yeah, they don't get the 2 for 1. Brunson will work it again against Embiid. Embiid bothers him. No, he doesn't. Brunson starting to feel out Joel Embiid a little bit in these last 2 games to know when he can get that window to get his shot off. Now Lowry's going to screen for Maxey. Changes the angle of the screen. They'll just switch this with Brunson. McBride comes over to double. Lowry's going to fire late clock. Left it short. And that will end a tremendously entertaining first half. Philly by 2, and we'll be back to cover the second half in about 14 minutes.
Yeah,
back on stage. Everything should be good.
yeah, and we'll have to see if this half can live up to the first half because whew, that was a fun one.
Yeah, it was. I'm interested to see who's going to be able to find the range from downtown, but neither team really getting up many threes. Knicks in particular, only 3 of 11. They like to shoot more than that. It does seem like the strategy has kind of been to let Jalen Brunson get his to some degree, but I think maybe we're going to see something different from Nick Nurse. Maybe not even until down the stretch. Ultimately, hey, they only scored 47 points in the first half. You don't feel too miserable about it, even with Brunson going off. They get Maxey involved in the pick and roll here, and now it's Brunson working into the lane. Hartenstein is lurking. Brunson waves it away. Embiid comes over. Lowry picks him up, but then retreats back to his, and he probably should have stayed there because Embiid had his man Hart.
Yeah, it seemed like there might have been you can't really scram when your guy has the ball and the other one. You could have even done like a weird switch double there, maybe.
Well, let's keep an eye on Lowry. He was more aggressive with the help that time. Let's see if they're going back to that strategy of having him help more. Now the Knicks switching Hartenstein onto Maxey, and Hartenstein can't contain Maxey, although that was a difficult shot.
Yeah, I mean, if Maxey's going to take that kind of a floater, I think you have to live with it at least some of the time.
DiVincenzo has been totally silent in this one. Hart looking to get it to Brunson, who's denied by Oubre. Oubre still topsiding on Brunson. They lay off to prevent the backdoor. Brunson sets the screen. Now he goes and gets it. And a foul called on Oubre trying to disrupt that DHO.
Something that I want to watch in the second half because it was important in the first is the Knicks have been more aggressive going after Embiid as a rim protector, especially OG Anunoby. Does that work out for them?
Hartenstein now denied, and DiVincenzo is Maxey. Hart going to come off the Hartenstein screen. Lowry gets through it. Now Lowry switching on to Anunoby. Anunoby tries to create the space, does so, and knocks it down. Nice play there. Lowry just a slight beat late with that switch on Anunoby. Let him get middle.
And we've seen some mid-range jump shots from OG in this game.
Two screens coming here to involve Brunson. No, they get out of there instead. Embiid waves everyone away because they were trying to ice Maxey. So Embiid able to create the space. Again, just going immediately. They tried to keep it on the side, but Hartenstein had to come over if they're going to do that. And that was good recognition by Embiid, recognizing what they were doing and just waving the screener away. Here's Anunoby going into Embiid. Kick it out to Hart in the corner. Hart hasn't found the rhythm yet. I think that's his first three-point attempt. Maxey going to pull it quickly here. Off the heel.
And yes, that was Hart's first three-point attempt. You were right.
Maxey picked up Brunson in transition. Brunson banging into him. And Lowry, I think, held DiVincenzo on the weak side. So a couple of cheapo fouls Philly is picking up here early.
Could potentially loom larger. They're not putting guys into foul trouble, but actually, that's Lowry's third. Apologies. That it gets him close.
And Anunoby will inbound. Hart, good pressure by Lowry. And now it'll be Brunson, forced to his right hand, snakes it back, tries to get downhill against Embiid, pulled up, but missed it that time. But you see, again, when he gets going full speed, that causes Embiid some difficulties because his deceleration is so good. Now Embiid, double team from behind, good cut Harris. Brunson picked him up nicely, but they get it weak side. That was good work there, and Maxey's going to get the and one. Nice progression there by Embiid, almost like a QB going through his reads, found the open man, and Maxey took advantage.
Maxey gets downhill. Brunson tries to take the charge, but the Euro step is a great countermeasure there, and then DiVincenzo commits the foul.
Yeah, and that was really nice footwork in the corner by Maxey to avoid stepping out of bounds and still get good acceleration. It's tough because you want to put your foot behind you to push off, but you don't have that space. So he pushed off sideways instead. Sixers getting a slight bit of separation. Weak side, they want to bring Brunson out to get it again. Some kind of dummy action here, but they got Harris on Brunson, so it worked. Here's Hartenstein down the lane. Oh, and he missed it. Embiid may have gone through his body. That was a close one. Lowry has Oubre in the corner. He's going to fire it. 8-point lead for the Sixers.
And that's a
Timeout, Knicks.
that aggressiveness from Kelly Oubre is a part of what he brings to the table for this team. We got a question earlier about what kind of contract Oubre could get next. And to me, I mean, I thought it was clear that he wasn't a minimum guy before this year. And so he should have offers with some real substance to them. I mean, I think of him more as a high-end reserve rather than a starter on most teams. But I don't know, something in the room exception range. Remember, the room exception is more lucrative now than you think because of the way that they switched it in the new CBA. Now it's the taxpayer mid-level that is really hard, that is much weaker. How do we think of or define shooting luck? So broadly speaking, to me, now if I'm watching a game in person, I can do a better job of evaluating the quality of shots that a team is generating. But it is the idea that a defense can do more to control where shots are coming from rather than whether they go in. So if you're facing an opponent and then they go 2 of 13 from 3, then you generally got lucky. And there could be further context. Maybe you left the right guys open and everything else like that. And broadly speaking, luck. Well, so I was going to say, look, Matt, it's more about kind of for the further out you go. However, there can be when you see something unusual closer to the basket, then to me, that merits further study analysis. So it's if a team is 2 of 11 in the restricted area, well, that was probably good rim protection or maybe some weird stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think there's pressure, at least on me, not to discuss shooting luck. No. I mean, I don't necessarily even think of it as luck that much, but shooting variance might be a better way of discussing it. But I'm always trying to figure out our past performance indicative of future results.
I mean, we did a whole extended segment on the Pelicans for this exact reason because we were trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. That OKC. How is it that they're hitting 50% for 3 the last 2 games? I thought the Pelicans are just so fucking amazing at closing out. How is that possible?
Is there anything to Embiid always having a crazy plus minus, or is it just that he's good? It's mostly that he's good. There is a part of it that is the parallel is with Jokic appropriately, where these players who are both physically large and dominant in their gameplay style that you can't functionally, there isn't a low rent version of them. So you have to change everything around. Now, my belief is that these teams just need to cultivate a completely different identity in those minutes and just basically treat it, maybe you don't have to do it as an actual bench mob, 5 new guys, but basically that you have a completely different, everything about that lineup. Maybe you even used completely different terminology in those lineups to get there because a non-Embiid lineup, it's a different team.
So the other thing I'll add to that too is they actually were very effective early in the season with Maxey on and Embiid off. Obviously that hasn't been the case now. But the other thing that I want to mention too is Tom Thibodeau is playing Brunson the first 16 minutes of the game in part so that he can play without Embiid out there. So, and then of course when Embiid comes back in, Brunson gets his rest. So that's been part of the variance with both these guys is that Tom Thibodeau is intentionally avoiding taking Brunson out when Embiid is also out. He really wants to win those minutes, and then they can. So that's kind of what's juicing those numbers even more than usual. Ooh, good pressure by Lowry against Hart, taking him out of the play. Now Hartenstein has it. He wants to interact with DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo will fire the 3 as Maxey went under, and loose ball foul. Lowry went down to draw it.
Yeah, and that is, who do they call that on? Is that on DiVincenzo? It looks like they called that on Hartenstein, but it's only his first.
Yeah, and thanks for those of y'all who are on YouTube as well. Start hitting some of those comments as well. Maxey picked up by Hart. Lowry has Brunson into the post. Embiid. Is he going to go quickly here? Double team. Maxey on the move. Tough 3. Harris was underneath, but the ball bounced away from him. Here's Brunson driving by. Embiid did well to get back. That was good hustle by Embiid, but it goes out to DiVincenzo. In and out. Harris on the rebound. 8-point Philly lead. Embiid slow getting into the front court. Here's Harris on the drive into Anunoby and scores on a big grown man move by Harris against one of the better wing defenders in the league.
The best thing Tobias Harris has brought to the Sixers in the series is some transition oomph.
Brunson, or I'm sorry, that's Hart. Offensive foul, Lowry again. That is the third flop that Lowry has had that's worked really well, and Lowry maybe did get hit in the face here, and he knows to stay down. You gotta, anytime you get hit in the face, you gotta stay down to trigger a flagrant review, and that's what's going to happen here.
And the Knicks currently 0 for 3 from long range in this quarter, and then they're 3 of 14 in the game.
Yeah, and Embiid, he was loving that there's going to be a review because he gets to rest. And Embiid, he gave Brunson a shot there too off the ball. Did you see that?
I missed that actually.
It was on the lower right. I'm sure Brunson, I think probably even has the hairstyle that he has to accentuate his flopping even more. Brunson saying the same thing about Embiid. That's bullshit, he says.
I don't see too much on that Embiid. I mean, Brunson didn't see him coming. I'm sympathetic, but I don't think there's anything like nefarious.
Yeah, that's Brunson like Embiid is just standing there. Like that's, if anything, that's like an illegal screen by Brunson.
Oh, and going back to the flagrant into the knees, ankles thing, one of the ways the league has never really done this, that they could handle this, is that they do like kind of after the fact flagrants on that. Oh, here we go.
No flagrant.
Yeah, I don't think it should be. And so you could say, yeah, that doesn't matter nearly as much as if you do it during the game. But the idea of that it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more care to go through that. Also, I don't want to slow the game down with those reviews. And then if flagrant points can matter later on, there is a fine associated with it as well. That's probably enough.
Again, they're trying to keep Maxey on the side here. Maxey engages Hartenstein and beat a little slow moving at weak side. Oubre had Lowry wide open and he took the shot inside. That was all too slow by the Sixers. Embiid has to move it faster, and then Oubre has to move it faster. Lowry, good job picking up Brunson as he gnashed under the baseline. This is Anunoby. Wow, he is getting some separation on these step-in moves, but couldn't get that when he left it short. Embiid in transition. Backdoor, not too hot for Oubre. Not a good pass.
Not a good pass. I also thought Oubre slowed down a little bit. He wouldn't have gotten that pass even if he was a little bit closer, but Embiid could have. Maybe he would have had a better angle.
Yeah, Sixers haven't turned it over much, but their passing hasn't been good in these last couple of possessions. Brunson tried to reject the screen. Oubre cut him off. Now it's Harris on Brunson. Brunson isolating, stepping back, and nice move there to draw the foul and cash it out.
And Jalen Brunson, I mean, the overall numbers from the game hasn't been the best start to it. 25 points, 11 of 18 from the field, almost all of that inside the arc because he's 10 of 14 on shots inside the arc, including that one there. And then he's going to get a free throw here to potentially push it to 26.
This is something that guys don't do, but they try to avoid the foul. I think you should go, once you're in the air like that, you know you're dead. Just come down on him and just grab him. Like, don't let him get the shot off afterwards.
We've also never, even though I've argued that they should, we've never really seen officials do an exaggerated penalty for that sort of thing, like to make that like unspoken.
Well, if you clock him in the head, yeah, you don't want to do that, but you can, if you're going to fall into him, fall into him. So Knicks stopped the Philly run and cut it to 7. Oubre gets Brunson switched on him. They're trying to run screening action out of the corner with Embiid and Maxey, and instead Oubre just takes it and gets fouled. Interesting. I'm not sure if I wonder if that was actually the play. Brunson trying to get into the discussion with Embiid about the elbow. So Oubre, a couple of free throws, hits the first one. He's been quite solid throughout this series. Man, that inside of Joel's knee brace, like he can't. How can he even run without it hitting his other knee? That thing is massive.
It's huge.
I want to be into this series, says Matthew, but the amount of grifting is killing me. I actually don't think it's been like too bad.
Other than
it could be a lot worse.
The second half of Game 3 was bad. The rest of it's been mostly fine.
Yeah. And I loved the Lowry play of taking advantage of the Brunson grift. Brunson getting the space, drains it again. Man, they are trying everything against him, and it just has not worked. But the Knicks overall as a team are not scoring that well. Maxey looking to step back. The Knicks are all over that move now, so he'll try to drive. Offensive foul. He deviated from his path into DiVincenzo. I love that call. But it's very interesting. You can tell that the Knicks defenders are all over. Yeah, he goes into this path. That's right. DiVincenzo is there. Love that call. That maybe could have been a no call. Here's a nice high screen. Brunson just rims that out. Very good look, though. Maxey looking to push it. He's going to interact with Embiid now. Embiid, hand back. Nope. Maxey was denied by DiVincenzo. Excellent work. Just that pressure forced the turnover, and Philly's passing continuing to be a problem here in the third. Oh, and that's all Embiid right there. Maxey's going to run this down. Who's going to come join him? Nobody. Maxey missed the three.
Oof, that's a rough missed opportunity for Philly. Though now they have everyone back.
Anunoby underneath.
But it doesn't matter. He reacted. I don't think Embiid saw Anunoby kind of cut right to the dunker spot.
Yeah, good cut by OG. Knicks have cut it to 5 here. Oh, Kelly's open, but he couldn't handle it.
And that's another bad pass by Joel Embiid. That one was too high as well.
You think so? I
think it was too high.
I think he should have had that one. Now, maybe you want to lob it out into space for him a little bit more than that. But, I mean, that hit him right in the hands. Now, Kelly Oubre maybe just not used to being a roll man in that circumstance, but I would put that more on Oubre personally. Yeah, they gave up that switch really easily. Brunson going to try Harris. Brunson, tough fader. That's sick. That is sick right there. I was thinking he was going to try to get back middle, and instead he's got every direction available to him. Philly's offense starting to stagnate, and the Knicks are back in it here.
It's been kind of a game of runs so far, because I think Philly had an 8-0 in this quarter, and then the Knicks have been pushing it now. But it's a 14-13 net in favor of Philly. So gonna get some fun time here. Now, I don't think we're gonna see either Brunson or Embiid on the bench for the rest of this quarter, but that overall dynamic is gonna be key to watch.
Depressing postseason, says Richard. You have to think NBA teams aggressively move back to load management after this.
Potentially. There are a lot of things. And I mean, depressing postseason, one of the things I caution people on in this is I'm happy this is in the first round, because we still have the setup to have much better later rounds. And so we'll forget some of this when, a month from now, where the conference finals and the teams that make it are deserving. So it could be okay.
Yeah, we'll see whether the injuries continue to matter. I mean, the Bucks are maybe even the most depressing one.
For sure.
More than, because I'm not sure that any of these other teams that have been injured would have won their series anyway.
The Clippers could have, and I mean, I wanted to see prime Kawhi, but like, I mean, and that injury was, I think that one's fundamentally different because it wasn't like it's been a lingering, like it didn't linger for most of the year, but it's like he didn't even like it's been around for a while now.
Is there an equivalent in NBA history to what the Falcons just did, where they drafted a 24-year-old quarterback, 8th overall, and they just signed Kirk Cousins to
I have one.
4-year 100? Yeah, what is it?
It's not quite the same, but the Minnesota Timberwolves drafting Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio back to back. Where it's one position players, they were taken in sequence, and I would say it's the best piece Ethan Sherwood Strauss has ever written that I've ever read of his was a piece that he wrote. He was embedded with Rubio, as luck would have it, when that happened. I hope it's available online somewhere still, but it's really, really good. Because you can imagine.
I would say the Sixers taking centers 3 drafts in a row.
Sure. That's their team.
Nerlens, Embiid, and then Okafor.
And those aren't direct parallels because the idea is that Cousins is a lot further. Like he's in a different point of his career than Michael Penix is, but it's a different challenge.
Well, the thing is though, in basketball, you pretty much can always play guys together,
right?
Or at least convince yourself that you can. Whereas you're only going to have one quarterback in football. But there isn't a situation where they just signed some amazing vet in free agency and then brought in his possible replacement, because amazing vets don't really sign with teams that are also going to have a really high draft pick.
It's true. Yeah, the structure of player movement in those two sports is really different. What do the Knicks and Brunson do so that a 5'11 player isn't a horrendous defender? I mean, Brunson works hard. He's physically strong, and they have really good
charges. I don't consider him a horrendous defender.
No, I think just the idea that he's a 5'11 guy who isn't a horrendous.
Oh, how do they avoid it?
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing is that he's strong. That he's not like super weak, and he also just has good instincts. And he tries. Will the NBA ever switch to picking their opponent in the playoffs? No, because the management of those teams doesn't want that smoke of potentially getting fired because you picked the wrong opponent. Here's Embiid triple teamed, and then is that going to be a shooting foul or not? That'll be Hartenstein, and I think he gets him on the arm. I think it's a shooting foul. Yeah, now that's Embiid kind of with the like go up through the arms kind of BS move, but they desperately needed something, and we'll see whether they kind of are going to go back a little bit more to some of the normal Embiid stuff here of him. He's looking more comfortable as a driver, so they're going to run some more of the stuff that they would normally do to get him facing up.
And will as Embiid gets healthier, which hopefully happens, will he start to deviate from some of the things we've really liked about injured Embiid, just going to the jump shot quickly?
So that breaks the Knicks 7-0 run. Batum is in to see if he can put out the fire on Brunson. Payne and DiVincenzo were involved. I'm surprised no foul was called there. Batum trying to prevent him from using the screen. Now they're going to switch Payne onto Brunson. They still are not double teaming. Now Brunson comes over. Blocked from behind. What a play by Payne. Brunson had to slow up because of the presence of Embiid. Maxey. They move to the corner. Big three by Oubre. Can't get that one. Couple of big missed corner threes by Philly in transition. And Payne is going to pick up a foul. Hart looking for the transition take foul. He's not going to get it. Yeah, this is a fantastic. How did he not foul there and not hit him in the head? That was the
best
incredible.
Defensive play of Campaign's career.
Good denial by Batum off that blind pig action. But now Maxey is going to get called for a hold. He wrapped up Brunson. He had 2 arms around his back.
And that's 5, I believe.
For the team.
For the team.
Yes.
No, Maxey that's the 3rd on Maxey. So, yeah, foul update. Batum, Maxey, Lowry all have 3. Josh Hart has 4. Hartenstein has 3.
Visible adjustments, how they're defending Maxey. They've given Hart more time on him. That's probably the biggest thing that I would point to. And then the other thing I would say too is particularly if they try to run into any double screening actions, they are very extremely trying to keep him on the side, not let him get middle and use the screen to involve Brunson. That's something they did a lot of, is bringing up a double screen, including Brunson's man, and so they're trying to just keep him on the side, and that's led to a little bit of strategic battleground we tried to highlight a little bit. Yeah, it feels like Brunson might be headed to 50 tonight. Embiid at the right elbow. Double team comes, he goes away from it, and he's drawn the foul again, and Hartenstein can't believe it.
That's Hartenstein's fourth foul of the quarter.
Wow. And Hart is saying, yeah, keep your hands back, buddy. And, I mean, these are the bullshit calls, right? Like, but Embiid now, I mean, see, that's, I just don't know what to do with that. Like, that is not a legitimate shot attempt to me, and it also should not be a shooting foul, though I think they're in the bonus anyway, right? Yeah, they are. So
they are. So like maybe the equilibrium is it's a foul but not a shooting foul, which in this case doesn't matter, but in other ones would.
I really enjoy everything about Dawn Staley. She's hilarious.
She's great. And I love that she was wearing an Iverson shirt when she rang the bell. That's awesome.
Yeah, is he hooking Hartenstein's arm? I think a little bit.
But Hartenstein's arm is on him first, so it's not like he brought it in. It was already there.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of taking that away, and then they call it, oh, nice crossover by Brunson. Embiid has to come out. Then he retreats. Brunson wants to get it back. Batum, great defense, hard on the drive, and Embiid goes through his body. And that's maybe a call that hasn't been made.
Did Embiid step on Hart while he was on the ground there? I don't think it was intentional, but...
Yeah, when I say it's a call that hasn't been made, Embiid kind of going through the body of Hart here. Yep, clear foul. And... yeah, does Embiid just kind of trip over him afterwards with his left foot?
They stopped the video early.
Let's see.
Oh, he steps on his leg.
I mean, that's unintentional.
It's soft. It's soft. I don't like that's.
Yeah, Hart. It feels like his quad more. I don't think that he hit his shin with that much force.
No, it wasn't like the Dominican Sue one or any of that kind of stuff.
Hart getting the first free throw. Philly up tenuously right now, but the dreaded non-Embiid minutes are coming. Yeah, I mean that one, like, especially when you have a knee injury, he's kind of tripping, falling backwards. I don't think there's anything there in terms of intentionality.
And I caution people: slow motion always makes things look more intentional than it might be.
Yeah, I don't. There's nothing intentional about that play. Yeah, he's landed. He jumped, landed on the guy's legs, which are both out there. As Embiid gets his pass deflected by DiVincenzo. Beautiful look there by Maxey, and Oubre gets the Brunson bounce.
Kelly Oubre corner threes have been a huge lifeline for the Sixers when their offense has been pretty stagnant in this quarter.
Good denial by Payne on Brunson. They get it to DiVincenzo. He'll fire and hit. DiVincenzo has really been on ice most of the game. They haven't gone his way, but when he gets a touch, he's still firing. That's a huge shot for New York. Embiid setting the screen. Now Payne. They deny Embiid nicely, so Payne will fire. That was good defense by Brunson. DiVincenzo just got it and fires again. Wow!
Ooh. Some aggressiveness, and the Knicks threes were not going in the early part of this game, and the non-Sixers part of the arena getting a little bit rowdy.
Embiid right back ribbon down against Hartenstein, who did not want to get too aggressive with the 4 fouls.
And if Hartenstein's going to be a little bit tentative there, go to Achua. He's done well.
Yeah, I don't. Here's Brunson stepping out. That's another 3-pointer. Little
Look at this.
Iverson cut. He just fired it. Embiid now. Oh my God. You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. This is not basketball. But also don't do that anymore.
That's a soft one. That shouldn't have been a foul.
I mean, that's certainly a non-shooting foul. They're in the bonus anyway. Yeah, I mean, I just like it is a foul. It should be non-shooting. They're in the bonus. I just don't know what you do about that because, I mean, maybe you just should be allowed to put your forearm on guys again, or like you need to just actually continue to drive and play basketball instead of picking the ball up and shooting a quote-unquote shot from 20 feet away.
And now Embiid, 10 free throw attempts overall in the game.
Yeah, it is so frustrating and boring and dumb to watch. I completely agree. So Achua is in now. Batum is on Brunson, trying to keep him on the side. He'll use the screen and snake it. Accelerating at Embiid. Embiid got him that time. And now Embiid is down.
I think he'll be okay. He tripped over Brunson there. Oh, but he's grabbing the wrong spot.
Yeah, it might be the ankle. Yeah, he's back up here. But will that now make it more tentative again? Reset the sign, Danny.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens to him here. He lands. Brunson goes down. And yeah, his left leg gets caught underneath the leg of Brunson a little bit. Then DiVincenzo beating his man. That was Melton who just came in and got beaten on the baseline out of bounds. Embiid looking spry enough. Now they've got Anunoby on him rather than Achua, interestingly. Embiid getting the space, and he's fouled again.
And that's an actual foul.
Yes. But because he's made the jumper, so much has opened up for him.
I mean,
he's like, I don't even have to do anything.
I mean, from a reverse angle, maybe Embiid deviated to his left, but it didn't seem like too much.
I'm also like, you notice that Embiid, I'm making him go right because he's more comfortable stepping back to his left. He's pushing off his right leg to go left. That's the good leg. I think you need to make him go right. Make him go all the way to the basket. Because when he goes right, it's much harder to kind of create that room for the step back because guys just don't want to shoot a step back going to their strong hand usually. Yeah, and all of this, of course, as Hartenstein talked about so sagely and then was completely unable to execute, lets Embiid get a ton of rest to get to the foul line, and he takes his time there, of course. Brunson now looking to get downhill. Batum stays with him. They'll surely just screen again. Batum keeps him on the side. Brunson into the lane. Good defense by Oubre. Hart, late clock, gets it back to Brunson. Brunson getting past Oubre, creating the space. Tough fadeaway. Hart, offensive rebound. DiVincenzo for his third three of the quarter. Off. Rebounded Hart again. Brunson wants it back. They should hold for the last shot here.
And they are.
1 second differential. Melton is on Brunson. Crosses over. Brunson goes through the arm, and that'll count.
And so a couple big offensive rebounds for the Knicks to not only get a third chance opportunity, but also to draw a foul. Though this one's on Melton, his foul trouble doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and Melton, he's had a couple of mistakes. They may need him for the rest of the series if he is healthy, but tough spot to put him into this crucible of a series, which is what it's been with the tactics, all the cheap foul drawing, like you got to just be so locked in to function in this series. And he's given up that baseline out of bounds layup and then that foul. Lowry going to push it. Gets it off. Left it short. And New York leads by 1 with the dread as Brunson maybe hit his ankle there a little bit. I didn't see what happened to him on that play. But we'll check that after this. The dreaded non-Embiid minutes are coming, and does Tibbs stick with Brunson during those once more?
And does whatever happened at the end of this quarter change that decision-making?
Yeah.
And we probably won't get clarification on that for a little bit because of the TV timeout.
I'm scrolling through some comments here. We can look on YouTube also.
Yeah. What will be the next big rule change in the NBA? I mean, I think it's the clarification stuff on the officiating. I think a lot of the big things that people want probably aren't going to happen. You know, you hear people talk about going to the FIBA goaltending rule. I don't expect that to happen. I would like to see a strengthening of the transition take foul, make it more of I've always thought it should be an intent call rather than, oh, they made a play on the ball. It's like, if you are committing a foul to stop a fast break, I don't care if you're going after the ball or not, because that's not really why and how players do it. We're already seeing some of the cheekiness of, oh, I was going after the ball. It's totally fine. And it's what you're trying to curb the behavior. I don't know if that counts as a major rule change. I mean, I'm sure they'll talk about some stuff in terms of hand checking and everything else, but some of the interpretations that we've seen this year are interesting.
Dion is going to ask you, has any other center in NBA history gotten a whistle like Embiid does? No, but there hasn't really been a center like him who's had the skill level that he has, and then also uses the dark arts as well as he does. But you kind of need that skill level. Like Shaq got fouled plenty, but he was doing it more through power, and he probably actually should have gotten more calls, if anything. And then the other thing I would say too that's kind of interesting as I think about it, particularly now that post play is more de-emphasized, is perimeter players. Most teams will have 3 or 4 perimeter players and a couple of bench guys, and you can put guys at different positions on perimeter players usually.
Sure.
Whereas the center, it's just whoever the center is on the other team generally has to guard him. So if your center just doesn't happen to be good at post defense, it's like you don't really have another option.
CK Will asked yesterday, I read a Reddit post about Devin Booker being widely considered a top 10 player at some point. He's never been in mine. He's never been in my top 10. He's been in consideration at times before, but he's never been in my top 10.
Yeah, I think he would have been in kind of the 9-10 range for me last couple of years. I would have to go back and look at it. He probably was for me this year, actually.
There are, in various places in social media, a lot of people try to argue consensus where consensus doesn't exist. Like they try to be like, oh, it's clearly this. And it's like, part of that is just framing people trying to frame their argument. But no, I mean, the idea that everyone thought of Booker that way, especially when the Suns, I mean, they did have that run to the finals, but it hasn't been like, oh, he's a no doubter, like playoff player, like one of those, like he could do it there. So, yeah. And hopefully the locker room thing for Brunson is precautionary. We'll presumably get more detail on that soon. And a 3 from Campaign doesn't go in. And the offense for New York in this stretch without Brunson is going to be absolutely pivotal.
Well, they just missed a dunk, and we're going to get offensive basket interference as Achua held on there. He felt the presence of Embiid, tried to pop off the ground quickly. So Joel is staying in here, and Brunson is out. That's not what we would have expected. Is Joel just going to go the whole way right now? Maybe if they can take a lead.
He got some rest at the free throw line.
Yeah. Yeah, so Brunson is in the locker room, and Payne gives Philly the lead here. I think they're going to just try to keep him beat out there, particularly for defense, and maybe run things through some other guys. Maxey also is not set yet. Batum stepping out on Anunoby, and good pressure by Batum knocks it out of bounds. 11 to shoot for the Knicks. Let's see what happens to Brunson here.
Knee to knee? What, ankle? I didn't see much there.
No. Maybe we'll get another look at it. Here's DiVincenzo tried Embiid, who backed away, but Achua keeping it alive. The Knick offensive rebounding now has to be a key for them. It started to tell late in the third with Brunson on the bench in particular. They need it. And that is off Batum, obviously, there.
Thankfully, the ref didn't get injured. That could have been worse.
Here's McBride. Movement shooting. Miles McBride, movement shooter off the baseline out of bounds. That is a tough shot and just never something that would be on the scouting report for him. Now Maxey rejects the screen. His three is left out a little bit short.
10:34 left for the YouTubers.
Here is Anunoby. He'll go to the jab step three against Embiid. He missed that. Payne is on the push. He's got Maxey on the left. He'll just fire it. Cam Payne gives Philly a 1-point lead.
We've seen a couple of these aggressive Philadelphia, 1-on-3, 2-on-4, and they've taken the shot. Maxey missed. Cam Payne makes it.
So timeout by Tom Thibodeau here. I kind of like this timeout to force them to play a longer period now. Maybe that's also to get Brunson back in the game. I don't know if we've seen him back on the bench or not. Yeah, no report on him being back on the bench yet.
Where do you think Durant wants to be traded to? I mean, seems like everyone wants to be traded to Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Durant getting traded to the Thunder would be so crazy. It's not going to happen, but for so many reasons, his complicated history with the franchise, the fan base's complicated relationship with him, Boston seems like a place.
So Embiid did not check out of the game, obviously, but Brunson's still on the bench according to Bontemps.
Okay. And for the record, I mean, you never know with Kevin Durant stuff. My belief is that the Suns will have Booker, KD, and Beal next year, and that if next year also goes poorly, then something breaks up at least some of it.
Yeah, well, it's the coach this time.
Yeah, coach this time, and then Durant or somebody else next year, if it happens again.
Oh, a large contingent of Knicks officials have gone to the locker room. Let me see if I'm gonna see if I can find somewhere on Twitter that video and see if I can Zapruder it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's got a link to it in the comments.
Heat, you'd rather have Donovan Mitchell because he could be there long term with Bam. My issue with Donovan Mitchell, the KD Mitchell is a different thing, but with Donovan Mitchell is that I don't think it's clear that either Mitchell or Adebayo can be the best player on a really, really good team. And they're going to cost the same amount of money as those guys who are. So it's like, are they the foundation? I think they're the foundation of like a team that can make the conference finals rather than a high-end title contender. Jalen Brunson back on the bench per Begley. Good.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like his right knee is what he was holding. I couldn't really get a good view. I saw one video. I couldn't get a good view of it. You remember he had that weird thing where he had that like nerve issue with his knee. Maybe this is kind of similar. What does it mean to Zapruder, the injury video? Ah, you sweet summer child.
It's a going back to the JFK assassination. that topical moment that was. I was going to try to get the number of years right, but I was going to get it wrong. Brunson
Yeah.
seems to be moving okay, but it's picking apart piece by piece. The more recent reference to it, although I don't think they used the phrase zaprudering, was they parodied the movie JFK on Seinfeld, but they did zapruder, but I don't think they ever used the term formally.
So another timeout for Embiid to rest, but we should get a pretty long period of play here. Can the Knicks stop fouling? Anunoby off the screen they run so many ATOs for Anunoby, and he scored. He's been pretty effective here, coming off of those screens, getting to the foul line and making a decision as Embiid kind of got screened off there. Harris against Hart. Back to Batum. Embiid being fronted by Anunoby. They get it to the corner. Good defense by the Knicks here. Late clock now. They're going to get it to Embiid. They got to not foul it. Oh, yes, the pass, but a block. Hart got Batum underneath. Great pass and an incredible left-handed block. Block shots with your left hands, kids.
Yeah, and that was a great pass by Joel Embiid, but Josh Hart just beats him at the summit.
Let's see how Brunson is looking here. Batum has him. Brunson looking to get to his spot against Embiid. Looking a little ginger as he kind of tests that knee out. He's going to back out. They're going to a late switch now. Brunson looking to create the space. Good dig by Maxey. Late clock. Brunson going across the lane. What a preposterous shot that is.
I spent that whole possession being like, oof, Jalen Brunson looks pretty limited, but he ends up making that shot.
Here's Maxey on the attack. He gets the basket, but it's stopped. Achua and Hart combined for the defense. Here's the push. Hart going into Payne. Offensive foul.
I think that's a blocking foul. I don't know that I'd need to see it again to challenge it. I don't think he's there in time. But I think the way the NBA calls this, I think that's a charge. I personally think it's a block.
This is a ridiculous shot. He's jumping off his left foot, going right, and shoots it with his left hand. How the fuck do you make that shot?
8:40 left, YouTubers.
Embiid going to face up on Anunoby here. Double team comes. He just shoots over him. Anunoby needed more pressure there. And now they're going to start making Embiid's catches harder as he gets tired. Brunson, I know he hit that ridiculous shot. He jumped off the left leg, not the one that was hurt. Let's see. Didn't look too spry on that possession beforehand. Here's Achua coming down. He's blocked. Embiid with the play. He slammed into the stanchion. Knicks are still alive in the possession. Anunoby leaving it for Achua. And he's stopped by Harris. Underneath. Anunoby stopped. No, it goes in. What a sequence that was.
A lot of tough spacing interior passes there by the Knicks, and they're up 5.
And timeout Nick Nurse. The gambit of leaving Embiid out there has not worked so far. Let's check out this sequence. I mean, he got blocked and it just happened to go in, right? This is some absolute man's basketball being played underneath the basket right now.
What would your closing lineup be as the Knicks? Starting 5? Oh, I'm thinking about Deuce. Starting 5. I would consider McBride over DiVincenzo, but I still think DiVincenzo's had some nice actions in this game, even if the shot hasn't quite fallen. What about you?
I'm going to refresh real quickly, and then I will tell you.
There we go. Is there any question that Brunson is a true superstar at this point? It depends on how you're using the term. Like Jalen Brunson as the best player on a championship team.
Right. Yeah.
Like Brunson
closing lineup for the Knicks, huh?
Sure, you could do that one. I mean, it seems like the choice is, assuming Hartenstein is available, not fouled out, is McBride versus DiVincenzo.
I would stick with Achua, actually.
Oh, you would?
Yeah, I think I would. I think they've looked better defensively with just more mobility. Hartenstein also has 5 fouls, so he's going to be scared of fouling. I mean, I like maybe you because I think Achua can give you some rim protection while also having the mobility to guard in the perimeter because they've gone to Anunoby as the main guy now in Embiid. I think that's actually working pretty well. It's a bummer we're ahead of YouTube TV. Well, you can either go for the VPN and get it, set it to I don't know, probably England, or we also are on YouTube right now. I tweeted that out, so YouTube has a pause button you can sync up there.
So the question about Brunson being a true superstar, I mean, for me, I draw that line differently than most people do. But for me, it's like credible best player in the championships, like in a high level series. And I think Brunson is, I mean, I had him fifth in MVP. I think he's a great, great player. I don't think he's that guy. So is that, I mean, but there are a lot of people who draw their superstar line significantly lower than that. And Brunson, I mean, that's it. One of the most important players in the league this year could end up being the best player in games in this series against Joel Embiid and the Sixers. So he's incredible either way. Would Mitchell Robinson be in there if healthy?
I don't think so.
No, I mean they're close, but
he's just too limited on the offensive end.
And we got a couple questions about the coaching matchup so far in this one. I mean, I think that I've been a little bit disappointed overall with that Philly. They found something with the way they covered Brunson in the early part of the series, and Thibodeau added the wrinkle of setting the screens higher. I personally think that was insufficient for the Sixers to walk away from both the heart element of it and the kind of like the rear view contest part of it.
Yeah, well, you can see that one, right? Like Maxi's stepping over there pretty hard. Now, would you consider not switching so easily on the perimeter?
Yes.
And just maybe go into the blitz there on Brunson because you still have Embiid hanging back there. So 40 and 10 for Brunson. Lowry off the screen. Harris is open underneath. They get it to him. And Hart blocked it from behind. Total lack of craft there by Harris. He could have just gone for the reverse layup on the other side. And now Brunson has a wide open three. Rebounded by Oubre. That could have really been a backbreaker. Maxey comes in, and he finishes. That was a huge sequence there. Brunson makes that three. Instead, that's a 5-point swing. Brunson picked up by Oubre. Knicks taking too long to get into things here. Now they get the switch. Lowry's looking to come over from the nail. Brunson looking to step back. Missed it. But, that was a terrible reaction. Embiid is exhausted right now. Just watch him for a little bit. He is not reacting to these rebounds. Here's Brunson on the drive. Kicks it out. Hart, he'll try Embiid. Goes to the tough fadeaway. That's all Embiid, but did he tap him on the arm? That's a horrendous foul with 1.6 on the clock.
And I would have actually, I mean, it worked out for the Knicks. I would have gone back to Brunson on Tobias Harris there, and with another couple seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, these have been some of Brunson's easiest looks that he's missed the last couple of times. Hart hitting the first free throw. Embiid still yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Josh Hart, who has rested in this game. I think he sat for 3 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, and then Boyan got hurt, who is now out for the game. He had to come back in. Hart, couple of free throws, back to a 5-point Knick lead. This is the series, at least from Philly's standpoint. Now they get the two screens. Embiid against Anunoby. Now he'll hand off. They haven't looked to Maxey. Here's Oubre going to attack. He goes up and scores. That's nice. They're going away from Maxey, interestingly. And because the big is sticking with Embiid, Sixers able to get right downhill. Interested to see how Tom Thibodeau wants to deal with that. Brunson. Knicks are taking way too long to get into it here. Brunson again against Harris. Going to have to step back. Tries to step through. Steps around again. And he's missed another couple. Embiid, lucky that the rebound went right to him. He's almost thrown it away. Wow, Maxey is so fast. No, it
He
did go out
did.
of bounds.
And that's another bad Embiid pass. I mean, he's trying to kind of get things moving, but he wasn't precise enough. Like he threw that ball way out in front of Maxey.
Well, does he? I think when no review, because I think Maxey may have hit it down into the sideline.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see here because I think that's what the referee called, that he hits it when he goes to control it, he hits it down, and it may have hit the sideline there. Let's see if we get a good look at it.
I believe it's about the ball, not the foot.
Let's see here.
That's not the angle that's going to help.
So I think, yeah, that first dribble down might hit the sideline. Let's watch it here.
This is it.
So his foot's not out. Oh, no, it's still in. That is still in. And then let's see if this right foot is going to land out after this. No, that is absolutely still in. That's a tough call for the official to make. Oh yeah, I mean that I understand to miss that one is really, like, that is a very bang play. It's very close. All right, maybe we could try to limit the 8 comments in a row in the comments, please. So yeah, this is in.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
Oh, that angle was actually even better than the other one.
Yeah, it was. This one will show us too.
Will we see a team come back from a 3-0 deficit in the next 5 years, non-injury? I definitely think it's possible. Oh, here we go.
So had they challenged already? I guess this was going to be their automatic anyway. So this is interesting. Now I believe both teams only have 2 timeouts. I don't think we have any timeouts remaining that aren't going to be called, and particularly with Embiid not having rested, that could be consequential. Yeah, my guy Guthrie made a bad call. You're right.
But on the 3-0 thing, I think it could happen, but it's such a high bar.
Oubre up top, guarded by Achua. Now Maxey is going to try to go downhill at McBride. Gets past him. Layup high off the glass. Drops. 1-point game.
And that's the aggressiveness from Tyrese Maxey the Sixers are going to need if Embiid is this tired.
Yeah, Knicks don't really have a rim protector near the basket now because Achua is guarding Oubre, who can shoot it a little bit. Brunson against Maxey. Gets off the ball. Big 3, Anunoby. Can't take advantage of Lowry over helping, but Maxey can't get the rebound. Brunson back to Hart. Big 3 for Hart. Misses. And stay here. Another foul in the rebounding action.
And the Knicks' offensive rebounding, it's largely been quieted during this game. Now they're all the way back up to 30%.
Yeah, this is the second half started late in the third quarter. And so Philly did retain their timeout. They still have 1 left. Nurse will surely use it. And that time they tried to go maybe to a different pick and roll coverage with Embiid further out on the floor, and Brunson saw it and went right by everybody. Now it's Lowry swinging it to Maxey. He'll drive underneath Oubre. Big dunk for Oubre. Oubre in the dunker spot. Lives up to that with a nice drive by Maxey off the double team against Embiid. I would go right back to that post up there. Don't even make Embiid make a move. He could just get the ball, and then they're going to double team. Brunson accelerating, take it away. It went off the foot of Embiid, it looked like. Embiid trying to call timeout, and it has been granted.
And so now that is going to be the last timeout called until the final stretch.
Yeah, let's see. Great play there by Maxey, and I mean he doesn't have the ball there though. Do you see that? Like that should be a jump ball. They definitely he did not have possession when that timeout was called. That was definitely a reaction to what took place the other night. He did not have the ball.
But how could that possibly happen with Josh Hart there? Maxey and Hart, of course he had possession.
I think wasn't it McBride who had his hand on
there? They're both wearing headbands. I think it was McBride.
Yeah. It's fucking unacceptable. That's what that is. It's unacceptable.
Brunson's overall night so far, 42 points, 17 of 31 from the field, 6 of 7 from the line, 10 assists, only 1 turnover as well. The Knicks have 10 turnovers, Philly has 8, and very few of those have been live ball. The Knicks only have 1 steal in the entire game.
Yeah, the other thing that's been really interesting, Knicks have made 9 of 16 from floater range, 8 of 15 from mid-range, and Philly is 4 of 11 from both spots. Oubre tries to reject the screen, goes in, and Achua says, no, sir.
Yeah. Oubre, guy switches onto you, but Achua is more agile than basically anybody else who fills that spot.
That's a fantastic block. I mean, I thought Oubre had it for sure. Yeah, Hartenstein still on the bench here as they're going to a little different strategy. Embiid sets the back screen. Now he wants it. Double team will surely come here. There it is. Oh, throw it to Maxey. Gee, that is terrible defense. Wow, that is very lucky by the Knicks that's where they double teamed off of. Yeah, I think just straight doubling Joel here, I'm not a fan of that. You got to wait at least until he goes into his move. Harris is on Brunson. Brunson rejecting the screen, getting to his spot. He's been a little slowed since the knee issue. Oubre switches onto him. Hart going to have to try it here. Goes to the floater. Off. Can someone get a rebound?
I think that's Knicks ball, personally. Yeah. I thought it hit, but I think it was Lowry. It hit somebody on the backside.
Yeah, so what is the challenge situation right now? Let's see it here. Yeah, he hit it right off of Lowry's head. Good call by the referees.
The team has 1 challenge available.
Yeah, Embiid is going to have to get some defensive rebounds here. They're going at him in pick and roll. Oubre's on the back of Brunson. Hart looking to hand off to McBride. They don't have DiVincenzo in. McBride's 3, and he's fouled. Oubre with his 2nd foul on a jump shooter here in the 4th quarter. Will Nurse consider a challenge here? They've both been successful, right? So I think they both have these challenges.
They both have 1 left.
Oh, just a little tap.
And he wasn't even in McBride's sightline. He didn't contest the shot and committed a foul.
Oh, wow, that was ugly. McBride hitting that one, and a 3-point lead would be very nice for New York at this point. I think it is a little concerning to me. It could be fatigue, but maybe the injury that Brunson has not looked as explosive getting separation after the injury.
That's definitely a concern for the Knicks.
And to me, the Sixers got to go right back into the post to Embiid here. That's what they're going to do. He's going to set the screen for Lowry and then try to post up. Anunoby trying to front him. Embiid says, hey, come here. But Maxey picked up his dribble in a terrible area. Maxey could have just driven the front there. Now Embiid's going to have to get it off. Gets the fadeaway, not even close. But that's all Maxey's failure right there as a point guard. And Lowry steps in on the fast break, and they're going to give this ball to Philly. Is there time for a challenge? Philly's going to try to inbound the ball quickly.
I think it hit Brunson last, so if it wasn't a foul, it would be Philly ball.
Knicks didn't agree. Lowry up top. Lowry should be the guy to try to enter it to Embiid. Maxey switched on to by McBride. Maxey, again, just doesn't know what he's doing. Finally, he's going to interact with Lowry. Gets the double team. Lowry is open. Has to get it off. Embiid, he does not get it off. Achua with the block and a shot clock violation. Yeah, Maxey really struggling to get them into their offense.
That was 2 phenomenal contests by the Knicks, because to get him to pass off of the shot to get it to Embiid, and then Achua with the block all the way. And Batum should be out on the floor. He could give them some offensive pace here.
Yeah, I don't know why they're sticking with Harris here. Here is Brunson's 3 off the heel. Lowry going to get called for a foul, getting into the legs of Achua, with Embiid up there defensively trying to challenge the Knicks' offensive rebounding. Tells that Lowry trying to box out, and there is a hold by Kyle Lowry. Yeah, we've had some delays, but we have not had a true stoppage since that challenge by Philly. Into Achua. Hart. Harris trying to deny Brunson. He does a good job there. Hart's going to have to create. He'll take the 3 off the dribble. Way off the heel. Another offensive rebound. It's Anunoby that time. Yeah, Batum also, I think, maybe could help them get a rebound. Here's Brunson looking to step back. Gets the space. Brunson way short. Another offensive rebound. McBride's 3. That's off. And finally, Philly bailed out. Achua got a hand on that one, too.
And I mean, Philadelphia they're giving up all these rebounds, but time is running off the clock, and they need to get a good shot here. I would say go early. Like, this is taking too long.
They're going to screen for Embiid. Embiid can't even move. He just tells Oubre to go set the screen. Maxey finally gets it to Embiid with 7 on the clock. They get him in rotation. Here's the drive. Maxey stepping back on Achua. Tough one. Way short. Achua, great defense. He's been fantastic. They got to get the ball into Embiid earlier and get him in rotation earlier. I would say give the ball to Lowry. Let him enter the ball. Here's Brunson. Going to try Harris. Getting to his spot and a foul. You cannot foul in that situation because he has nothing left in the tank right now. I don't know if I think the one field goal maybe he has is that crazy one going to his right. Yeah, he tried to reach in. And again, you got to question Nick Nurse not having Batum in here. Would this be a challenge possibly? That looks like it might have been semi-clean. But now Brunson can really put Philly into difficulty. Down 2 possessions. Hits the first.
Both teams have a challenge left. Josh Hart has 5 fouls. Lowry has 5 fouls. Oubre has 4. And then Hartenstein has 5, but he's not in.
Brunson, big free throw here to push it to 5. And he missed it. Ooh, that looked like it could have been close there too. Knicks are in the bonus. Philly is not. That could play. Oubre going to try to get him some extra time, which they desperately need apparently. Here's Oubre. Going to just take the 3. Missed it. Rebounded by Lowry. Embiid wants the ball. He's got to go faster. They double team. Lowry, Maxey against Achua. Harris's corner 3. No. Tipped around, and Brunson has it. And 2 decent looks there.
Why is Embiid trying to pressure here? This
is insane. An insane waste of energy, I guess. And Brunson tried to draw the foul. Now nobody's guarding Brunson.
Brunson
gets
who's
to
tired?
His spot and scores. That is just mental fatigue right there by Joel Embiid. Then they double team. I guess Nick Nurse maybe must have just called for the random double teaming. And they leave the best man on the floor open, and then Embiid never moves after that. Like, Embiid was so tired, and to waste his energy on that was so weird.
And so now Philly is in deep difficulty, down 6 with a minute to go. They do have enough possessions to make this happen, but they have to get good shots. They have to get them quickly, and then they have to defend. And as Demon Lama said, the odds of Embiid actually turning Brunson over weren't zero, but they were close. And that's exactly the point: is that you're probably not going to get a turnover. You're not going to speed them up, and I don't know that speeding them up was even something that the Sixers needed to prioritize.
And you might speed them up. What is the how much time is left right here?
A minute. No, I'm saying on the last play.
Yeah, no, I meant that. I understand.
So it was about a minute and a half at that point. Minute 20. And yeah, have to question the decision to play Embiid the entire second half. A lot of people focus on the off, like, oh, they're that when they're on 4. But if you're making the minutes worse when he's on, that's a problem too.
But I mean, the biggest thing you can point to, in addition to the poor shooting, the lack of organization offensively, is the lack of defensive rebounding.
Sure.
And Tom Thibodeau, he's hit the right buttons. Going to Anunoby on Embiid has really worked well. Sixers trying to get it in quickly here, down 6. They need a 3. They don't go for it. Instead, Embiid is fouled. Kind of a bailout there again for Joel Embiid. He's really the one initiating the contact. Embiid absolutely exhausted. Did get maybe a little rest with the timeout, but yeah, I think that eye with the Bell's palsy is maybe dried out a little bit. So they need these free throws desperately. Only one timeout left. Season is on the brink, and he misses the free throw. And they really have to press, particularly with him with not getting a 3 on this one. And not sure what the delay is here. So Embiid will actually need to make this free throw, and then they can't let it get down to 30 seconds here. They're going to have to go to some sort of pressure and then possibly foul. I think Anunoby or Achua gets the ball. I think I would foul them, particularly Achua. Anunoby has it. He's being pressured up by Embiid. Lowry looking to double. There it comes. They get it across. Pressure still in the half court. They get it to OG. Brunson now gets it. He's going to be double teamed. Late clock. Gets off the ball. Hard is open. Hard will try Embiid late in the clock here. And lost it finally. Embiid has it. He's going to try to push it up. Got to take a 3 here. No, he's stopped. No foul. Got to take a 3 there.
And this might Tibbs might challenge this, just because if you win this challenge, you win the game. If that ball was actually off Maxey.
Yeah, this is exactly the sort of one that usually gets zaprudered.
You need the reverse angle on this.
Sure. We'll get a look at it hopefully in a moment here, if they show us the arena cam.
And as a note, we got asked if we're going to do the next game. We are not. Possibly Nate or both of us will jump in if it's close late. But we are going to be we do our Sunday night recordings of Dunked On during the playoffs, at least this segment of the playoffs. We do those on YouTube as well. So you can't watch the game with us, but you can watch us if you prefer that way of enjoying Dunked On. You can do so.
This one looks like, from that angle, like it does come right off of him here with the strip. This one we've already seen. Doesn't really show it. So looking like it's going to be call sustained so far, unless we can see another angle. This one, it looks like Brunson just knocks it out of his hand very quickly. Maybe it goes off his
I think it hits Maxey's. I think it hits the bottom of Maxey's wrist. If I had to say what happened, that's what it is to me.
Yeah.
Because also that's why it would go that angle. If it didn't hit Maxey at all, it probably would have gone back towards the other basket.
Yeah, maybe it goes off his right wrist and forearm there. Yeah, that's a decent call. I don't know if there's going to be enough. Maybe this can show us a little more.
It did. It hit the I'm doing a hand signal. I saw where it hit him. It took me like 6 times to actually see the touch.
I'm interested if this is enough to overturn. I still think it's pretty damn close. But this is a good use of the challenge. Now, you do want to have timeouts so you can get the ball in. Remember the Knicks, that game against Chicago on the last day of the season where they got the 2 seed. They had, I think, 5 straight inbounds where they could not actually get the ball in bounds. I don't think that Philly has that level of pressure in them, though. Maybe will this show us? Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to get a good enough angle to be 100% sure. Maybe this one will show it. Yeah, there does maybe seem to be a second touch there on Maxey. I hate these calls, though. Yeah. I mean, this is one of the ones where I don't like unless there's an obvious second touch. I think they should change the rule here to make it that it's, if you get stripped like that, if there's not an obvious second touch, that it remains the offensive team's ball.
Yeah. It's like kind of who's the reason it went out of bounds, sort of that idea, rather than the.
Yeah, we're still waiting here to see whether Philly has something. They must get a 3-pointer here. Yeah, call stands. Yeah, if you're down 2 possessions in the final minute, or down 5 or more, I would say, in the final minute, you need to go for a 3. They have eschewed that twice in a row here.
And they might be doing it a third right now.
Yeah, the inbounder will be Batum. They're going to line up everyone along the baseline, and you'd think that Maxey would be the guy they'd try to get open. Trying to bring Embiid to the near side. Lowry falls down, and
that's it away from the play. It was before the inbound.
Yes, I believe that's before the inbound. That could be big here. They still need to go for a 3, though, if assuming he makes this free throw. And now that Embiid miss, Danny, looms quite large, because if he makes that free throw and then Lowry makes this one, they would only be down 3, and they could actually go for the tie here. I mean, Lowry.
Oh God, this is gonna be such an interminable review, because Embiid was engaged with Anunoby going into it, so they're gonna be like, oh, was it a foul? Like, was it something with Embiid?
So it's not gonna be a challenge, though. They're reviewing it to see whether
just how it related to the inbound.
Ball. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's a narrow lens.
And yes, the foul takes place before the ball is inbounded clearly. So this is going to be 1 free throw for Philly, and then they'll get to inbound it again. And Lowry, I mean, that was perilously close to an illegal screen. He really moved into his path right at the end. I don't think he gave him a chance to avoid it. That's supposed to be the standard. But he moved so quickly. That's kind of the beauty of having a guard screen, is they can cover a lot of ground. So a key free throw now for Maxey. Key free throw here, and he just rims it in. But yeah, so they still need a 3 here. They don't have time to try to score and then play defense. Same play they just ran. Embiid getting open. Shoot the ball! He tried for a 3-point play. Shoot the ball!
And that's going to be
He's wide open.
Oh, so this is Knicks rebound and foul. Okay.
I mean, I guess you know what he was doing? Watch this. He's trying to go towards Achua.
He's trying to get a 3-point play. It's
But
like
here's an idea.
it's the
How about you
reverse.
draw up a play for a 3?
Nate, it's the reverse Ben Simmons. Turns down a layup trying to draw a foul instead of turning down a layup to avoid getting fouled.
Unbelievable.
Oof.
Will Philly shoot a 3 at any point?
I'm leaning heavily towards no.
Like, he gets wide open. Why didn't they just have him run to the 3-point line and shoot a 3 on that play?
Not allowed.
I don't understand it at all.
They haven't even...
Hart missed them both. Rebound, they got to push it here. If Embiid had just taken that layup, where would they be right now? Here's Maxey. He's going to try for the 2. Doesn't get it. Kick out. Lowry gets it off. Brunson on the contest. Not even close. Lowry gets it back, and he grifts a foul there.
At least they attempted a 3.
Philly still has 1 timeout remaining. But if you think about it, Embiid missed free throw down the end, doesn't take the jumper, doesn't take the layup. Like, they would be in position here to have actually had the time shot.
That was not a legitimate shot attempt either.
No. But now they're in the bonus anyway, so it doesn't matter. But Lowry, he, of course, had that huge miss in Game 2.
And the Knicks still have a timeout, so I think you look to inbound it, but then if you don't have it, be ready to call the timeout.
Yeah, they absolutely should learn from those 7.5 left. I think you just call it. You just call it immediately. He missed it intentionally. Kick out. Brunson has it. Like, did he miss that intentionally?
I don't think it was intentional, but we'll get another look at it.
That was way off.
It was way too hard. Okay, there's the broadcast is saying intentional. I'd like to see it again.
Let's see here.
The angle on that was intentional. That was intentional. But if he's trying to shoot it long, none of the Sixers went like it was going to go that direction.
So Brunson hits that, and that's going to end things and probably end another promising season in Philadelphia in the first round. Yeah, we'll have to check with Dan on this, but I think only 2 teams have ever come back from down 3-1 without home court advantage in the series. But yeah, that's going to do it. I think we can probably hang it up here. But what a weird end to this game. That's just what you see, I suppose, with this level of fatigue. But the Knicks are going to hold on. We'll await news potentially on Brunson and his injury. But this is an amazing blow here for Philly. And they're going to have to recover somehow in the offseason.
Yeah, and this, I mean, a game that they absolutely could have won, a number of things. We'll break it down on the pod. And, I mean, Brunson's heroics, but the Sixers left a lot on the table here. And in a must-win game, sometimes you have to get more of those things right.
I'd like to congratulate them for finally attempting a 3, though. That's yeah, this is kind of some classic games in this series for probably ending up being in 5. And I'm not going to rule out Philly winning Game 5 by any means, but just getting it through 3 games is going to be really tough when in a series where no one really seemed to have a particularly clear advantage. Yeah, let's take a look at this again before we go. Yeah, Jefferson's making a good point here that they just miscommunicated the intentional miss. Now Embiid will take this 3. Not even close. And good night for this one. All right, we'll be back on Dunked On later tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.